We're doing it. We did it. We're here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Tuesday morning. It feels like Monday because I played hooky yesterday.
Did you get a lot done?
Well, I finished binding our newest
quilt.
quilt.
That's amazing.
And I got a lot of work done on that little sewing machine. But you know what? I don't have any of my lube at my house, so I know. So I couldn't finish her. It's okay.
You probably brought it here and gave it to somebody.
I did.
I'm sure you did.
I did do that.
We're going to do a super quick sound check to make sure that we're not chatting for
I had the weirdest dream. So I didn't sleep real well last night because Stan's poor little legs were just
there we go.
Just a shimmying and a shaking all night long. But I dreamt that I got to work. It was a Tuesday morning for us. And I went in my office and everybody was standing in my office and they're like, "Where were you, Fran? It's staff meeting." And I said, "Wait a minute. Did you guys change staff meeting to Tuesday?" And I couldn't see because I had such a headache. I couldn't even open my eyes.
And how on earth would we all fit in your office?
This is a good one.
Were we on each other's shoulders and sitting on the
piggybacks?
How is that working?
I'm not quite sure, but you were all just smooshed in my little tiny office with no space.
Oh, that's was funny.
Yeah.
Now you can laugh about it, but you were sure confused, I bet.
I was very confused. I'm like, but wait, it's Tuesday. Yeah, but it's staff meeting and you're late. And I'm like, well, I'm always late, but staff meeting is Wednesdays. So what?
And it's not even tomorrow, Wednesday.
No. I don't know. Sometimes I worry about me, you guys.
You know,
it might be the old timer setting in. You might have to watch me real close. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Oh my gosh, that made me cry.
Oh yeah, it was so weird. You know how sometimes you have those weird dreams and you wake up and you think, where did that come from? Why?
Have you had dreams where you're mad at people and then you have to wake up the next day and you think,
oh my gosh,
am I really mad?
Well, let me tell you. One time I was pregnant with Brooke, right? And Stan and I went to this party. This is my dream. This is not for real. No game. Went to this party and Stan disappeared. And then I found him behind some real tall bushes with the girl.
Oh!
I was so mad at him when he came home the next night. I couldn't even talk to him because I didn't see him in the morning before he left for work. When he got home that night, I was so mad at him. I thought, I don't even want to look at you. You did this to me. And then he ran off with some other woman behind the bushes. Shame on you, Stan Leslie. It didn't really happen. No, I'm still with the old boy almost 50 years later. Yeah, a lot of years later. So
that happened to me in my old job. I had a dream that I was really mad at my boss. And this was back when our company was teeny tiny and we were so close. And I woke up in the morning going, I don't think that was real. Am I mad at him? I don't know. And all day I was sitting at my desk and I'm like, I think I'm mad at him, but I don't think I should be. And it was so weird. And that's happened once for Ken too, but I don't remember what the Ken.
Was he behind the bushes?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, good.
But it's causes real emotions in your body. It's so weird.
And why are you wearing your glasses today?
Well, I can't wear my contacts on the airplane. Oh. Well, I don't want to wear my contacts on the airplane, so I'm in my glasses today because I'm going to get on a jet plane today.
Leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back.
I do know, but
it's good. I'm glad you do know, and I'm glad your kids know you're coming back for real.
Yeah.
Australia.
I'm going to Australia
today. Oh, and then Mary's gone to Africa right now.
I know. Village and
Deanna I think at the end of the month is going because she's got a brand new granddaughter.
That's so exciting.
Lisa's getting ready, I think, tomorrow to go.
Yes.
Hey, I'm not jealous. I might get to Ogden tomorrow to buy bully sticks for the dog. I got a trip planned too. There you go.
Yeah.
You never know. This is going to be so exciting.
It's going to be so exciting.
And I think Miss Liz is going to.
Yeah, so that's actually one of our announcements. So not next week. Will there be a normal Village Vibes next week?
Well,
Fran will be doing with some help. Whatever we call normal. We're never normal, but
we're not.
But hopefully around 9:30 next Tuesday. But I want to do something from Australia. Now the problem is right now is like 1:30 in the morning. So we're not going to be able to do it live at the right time, but we might do it live at a better time. We'll figure it out.
But be watching in 2 weeks for that. Because
we're doing something. And it might just be where I think I can schedule posts, so I might be able to schedule something that goes live at 9:30, but it won't show up as a live video. So I don't know. We're got some research figuring it out. I got to get there and figure out what my time zone is. I figure I'm so tired right now. I've been working so hard to get out the door and get all the things ready and get the kids ready and, all the things. And they're not coming. My kids aren't coming. But
it'll
still
be fun for you. But you still have to get stuff ready here. Yeah. And so I get to be surrogate mama. Yeah. I get to be Nana. Yeah. No, not mama. I'll be the
I left Nana. Your phone number written down.
Yes. So. Yep. Because those are my kiddos. So
okay. Mary Ann said,
good morning, Mary
I dream of running a register and I can't find the price of lobster. But the place I worked doesn't have lobster.
See, those weird dreams. It's like, and they say that your dream has something to do with something that happened during the day. I don't know if I believe that, but
you know what? I occasionally have had this happen different times of my life where I have a dream where I find extra rooms in my house. And I think, why are we not using these rooms?
Because then you'd have to clean them.
I don't know. And I think that would make an excellent sewing room. Or one time I found that we went downstairs and there was all this equipment and food storage and stuff that the previous owners had left. Oh. But we had been there for years and I was like, well, I guess it's ours now. Like, do we have to give it back? I know.
Food storage this year.
You don't know. But I did a little bit of research and they said if you dream that you're finding extra rooms, it means you don't have enough creative time in your life.
This is true.
So I thought, of course, I need, the extra room thing, Marianne. Have you had that too?
Oh, wow.
And so I think I just need to sew more and that will help my dreams.
And they do. And it's so interesting. One time I did a little bit of research on the meaning of some dreams. There's some weird.
Yeah, you can find some interesting stuff.
Be careful. Some of it was like, be really careful with some of what you find. So we have to make this quick today because Miss Lizzie needs to get on the road.
I need to get on the road.
So we have something really fun that we wanted to talk to you about today, and it's displaying quilts.
Because you've worked so hard, and you need to be able to display them to see for yourself. I know a lot of us do things for gifts, but my home has quilts everywhere.
Everywhere. So I was talking to Donna this morning, my daughter, and she said, "Oh, I probably need to go in my big pink suitcase and get my quilts out of it." I said, "Well, you are going on a trip here next week. You might need your suitcase." But she went and did a demo at a quilt guild.
Oh,
so she took her
just packed it all up.
And she just hasn't had a chance because they just finished up with their shop hop on Saturday. So
that's exciting.
Yes, so she's not had a whole lot of time. But I was just kind of trying to think of some different ways that I display my quilts. And, I have a whole lot of ladies in waiting.
Yeah. I have a few.
No, I have a lot. And they're in one of these great big, it's like what we have our wool in over there.
Oh.
Our little snippets. I have one of those at my house, and I have them all rolled up and
really tight.
And then there's a little shelf under it, and I have a basket down there with more in that. And then I have more laying over here. We don't have to talk about that this morning, though, do we?
No.
Because those aren't even done.
So are your ladies in waiting? They're finished?
They're finished tops. They're waiting to be quilted.
They're waiting to be quilted in all your spare time.
Waiting for a long time. But you know what I did? I can't. So maybe next week I might show another quilt that's
good.
It's so cute. That Janet Wecker, her artwork is beyond spectacular. Yes. So she came out with a new, and I can't remember what the line is. Pumpkin Patch, I think. Anyway, she's got a great big panel with a jack-o'-lantern standing. It's like a person with a jack-o'-lantern head. It's so cute. So Saturday, I took the panel and some fabric home, and I was trying to get it finished to bring it back to Roxy to take home to quilt it for me, because if she quilts them, that means I can work on another top.
There you go.
So but I didn't quite make it. But Sunday we went down to Tegan and Jared's house, and Roxy lives close
by,
so I dropped it off.
Took it
so
there.
Maybe next week I might have a
finished. Oh, that would be fun to show.
Cute. It's so cute. But So I have a lot of ladies in waiting, but I also have a lot of quilts, and I have given away quilts, a lot of quilts, because
Well, and you probably have a lot more than many people
probably
because of it's a job hazard, right?
it is a job hazard. I like that. It is one of the side effects of owning a quilt shop. Maybe we should say that I do have a few. And, we've talked about doing the quilt auction before. I think we've talked about that. So every once in a while, when all my kiddos or grandkids, everybody's together, they call it the quilt auction. Although nobody's paying me anything for. I don't know why we call it. Nobody's bidding. All we do is we have a little bowl. We put everybody's name in it. We have a whole stack of quilts, and when your name is pulled out, you get to choose a quilt. And we have done that several times. It's time again.
Yeah, maybe everybody gets 2 picks
or 3. Oh, yes. Yeah, a few. But, so I have them everywhere in my house. So what are some ways you'd like to display your quilts?
Well, one of my very favorite ways is I actually have my great-grandmother's treadle sewing machine. And it's right as soon as you walk in the door of my house. And, it's in the old quilt cabinet, right? So I have it up so you can see it, but then the top lays out like that. And I can lay lots of different sizes of quilts on that top. So that's one of my favorite ways.
Do you change that out?
I do.
Nice. So you really get to see.
Yeah.
I have more than one. So I have a lot of seasonal kinds of quilts and a lot of just everyday kinds of quilts. And so I have a basket that just has Halloween and fall quilts in it. And it's so fun to undo those and then hang them over the railing or over the sofa or over the chairs or, wherever.
I have them all over the furniture that way too.
All over the furniture. I put them on my furniture, except, I have to be careful on my furniture because I have this 103-pound dog. Furniture's all belongs to him. 2/3 of the sofa, both of my nice big comfy chairs in my family room. They're Sebastian's. So I have old quilts on there for him because my couch is leather and I don't want him to scratch the leather up.
Right.
And then my other 2 chairs have been beautifully reupholstered. And even though he doesn't shed, he's still dirty.
Yeah. He still likes to frolic in the yard.
He kind of does. And so I have quilts over those. But at Christmas time, I put quilts up over the backs of the chairs and, of course, over the sofa and the railings. And I love to display them on the railings.
I do, too.
We have a split level at our house. And so when you walk in my front door, I have a long railing right there, so that's a fun place to
is a really good place.
And then going up to the 3rd floor, there's another little smaller railing there, so I like to hang them up there. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. And Fran brought up basket. I have the same thing. We kind of roll them up and put them in a basket. My basket's a little bit bigger than yours.
I have huge ones, but I don't want to carry a big basket. And today I was feeling a little bit lazy, so here's just a little small basket here. You can see there's the basket. And these are not huge quilts that are in here. In my big basket, I have some really big ones, big quilts. But I have several little ones with smaller type quilts in them. And then I have my great big ones that I roll them and put them in. But speaking of rolling quilts, if you have your quilts rolled or folded or whatnot, refold them frequently so that it takes those creases out of there so that when you go next year at Christmas time to get your Christmas quilts out, you don't end up with big creases. And never, ever display them in direct sunlight.
Yes.
Never. Don't do that.
Don't store them in garbage bags.
Oh, saddest story ever. We had a lady come in and they were moving. And she put a bunch of quilts in black garbage bags, and her husband thought that they were garbage, and he threw them out.
Away. Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
I've heard a lot of people say to store them in a pillowcase.
Pillowcases would be better. You wouldn't. So pillowcases are actually kind of a cool way to give them as gifts, too.
Yeah.
Because you use that pillowcase, and you know what? Now sheet sets now come with 4 sets of pillowcases.
Sometimes, yeah.
Well,
I think I just bought a sheet set yesterday. I think it does because it was 6-piece.
Yeah, and the bottom sheet always wears out fastest, right? So then you end up with a top sheet. What are you going to do with that?
I really need 2 sets of bottom sheets.
I know. Get rid of the pillowcases. Give me some extra bottom sheets. And you can buy just a fitted sheet.
You can,
Can
but
you?
it's like on Amazon, something special.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
probably.
Not
Well,
like,
just pay as much for
but
that as a whole new set of
yeah,
sheets, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, store them if you to pack them, like if you're going to a quilt guild meeting or something and you want to take your quilts along, that's an excellent way to take your quilt to that meeting so it doesn't get all dirty and
Yeah.
gross. But our friend Amy showed me a really cool way of folding quilts, and
There's a video I watched fairly recently. I will try and share it, of a lady who showed how to fold it where it folds on the bias.
Yes.
And
yes.
so then it doesn't crease.
It doesn't crease.
And it doesn't wear like a wear mark in your, because right on the grain would wear a wear mark on there.
It does.
Depending on how long it's folded in the same position. But I need to, so I had last year, how long's it been? I had a quilt cabinet built.
Oh my gosh. I was going to call you this morning and say, take a picture of it and bring it.
I should have.
We'll show that. Oh,
I will. It is huge, amazing. First of all. And that's why I can't be done quilting, because it's not full. I have to keep quilting. I have to fill it.
I can help you.
Actually, Erin has a really good idea. She wants to come to the next quilt auction too.
Okay, Erin,
so I think we need to have one at staff meeting. Not in your office.
In my office. Oh, good luck on that. I don't know where you'll all fit, but good luck on that.
But my daughter has folded them all and put them in there for me, and she kind of has them organized. We've got Christmas.
So
we've got different stuff.
It's gorgeous.
And so, but we need to pull them all out and refold them and put them in there. But it's so lovely, and we can. I mean, there's several people in our family. We have grandmas and grandpas that come, and they all love to grab a quilt, and so it's really nice. But so a quilt cabinet, and I've seen people use old, like, what are the hutches?
Like an old hutch.
Yeah, like a kitchen cabinet
I've
thing.
seen them repurposed like buffets, old buffets, and use those. In my garage, I have an old pie safe from Stan's mother that came from the Lake of the Ozarks before it was the Lake of the Ozarks. So they owned property there.
Cool.
And when they decided they wanted to make this man-made lake, they bought all this property from all these poor farmers that lived there. And so this pie safe is the only piece of furniture from Stan's mom's side of the family that, at least, that was on from Stan. And but they stored it in I don't know where they stored it, someplace, and they put masking tape over the door. So now there's this masking tape line. I don't know if I can get that off of there. But, I thought, even if I did like a little chalk paint on it or something, because I really want to bring that in my house and open the doors and display quilts in there.
So furniture is a really fun way to...
Bookcases.
Yeah.
I've seen them stored in bookcases, any kind of a shelving type thing. I've seen them stored in that way. Hanging on walls. Let's talk about different ways to hang them up on walls. Yeah. So many different... quilts. We shouldn't forget quilt stands. Because quilt stands are a fun way also. Yeah. That's kind of a very traditional way of doing it. We talked about all those. Okay, so on walls, I've seen them displayed so many fun ways. Like our Roxy down here does the most amazing things. Like she'll take a quilt and she'll kind of bunch it, like kind of fold it up at the top and bunch it so the top is kind of fanned out, and then tie a bow around the middle and hang it up like over. I mean, you could hang it over anything. Didn't you tell me you use some command hooks?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to show that.
Oh, good.
So I should have brought some. I forgot, but my brain has been a little bit
wild. She's going to Australia. She can't be bothered.
There's these metal command hooks like this, and they're not this big. This is blown up so you can see it. But you can take it. This works really well on something small. Let me show this really quick. So what you would do is on the back side of your quilt, down just a little ways. You don't want it right at the top. You put safety pins, and then they just slide over these command hooks. And the nice thing about that is you don't have to put holes in your walls.
Right.
You can easily move them if, okay, this is the quilt I have hanging this month, but the next month my quilt's a little bit bigger or whatever. And depending, like this one, I would probably use two, but anything bigger than this, I'd probably use 3. You don't want, these command hooks say they hold half a pound. So, I mean, like this doesn't weigh a ton, but you don't want to put stress more on your quilt either
Yeah,
from the
pins, because you wouldn't want the pins to rip a hole in the back.
That's nice if you're not committed to where you want to put it, or you want to try out a spot or something, or you do have something really small that doesn't need huge things in your walls.
Space.
So that's a good little command to. I've used that several times.
That's a good one. So, and there are some really cute different kinds of little tiny frames for like really small things.
Really
like
small locations.
This little thing that's here, which I can't get anymore, so I don't know if we even should show it. But I mean, there's lots of other things. On walls, you can also, what is that thing called? Hang it, dang it.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It's that metal strip. No, we were talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a metal strip, and you hang it up on your wall, and it's like a magnet kind of a thing. And then you put the metal strip, you have a sleeve on the back of your quilt, and then you put that metal strip through your quilt, and then you just go.
Yeah.
And it just
so you use like the metal, I've seen them in kitchens, like a tool magnetic strip. You can buy them at Harbor Freight, which we're gonna do some Harbor Freight stuff soon. But you can buy them at Harbor Freight, and I think they're used in shops for tools or kitchens for knives. But you could hang. My mom has that, I think, in 2 places in her house. She has 2 or 3 of those, spaced out a little bit, but they are very strong.
Yeah, they are.
And then the metal strip in there is maybe an inch wide. It's not too big.
It doesn't need to be very
big. You just have a sleeve on your quilt, or sew triangles in the corners of your quilt, and you could just be a little careful on that. I think that would be the most stress right there in the corners.
I think if it were very big, I wouldn't want to do that.
Do a sleeve.
Do a sleeve.
Yeah.
Do a sleeve.
And I've even seen people do the corners or a sleeve. No, more of the corners, and do a dowel and kind of stick the dowel up in there a little bit tight. And but then, have you seen the wooden blocks?
Yes.
You can hang them with wooden blocks, and I've actually purchased those, but I've never actually hung them.
But here's the thing about those. That's size specific, because you're going to mount those on your wall. You know, they're nailed into your wall, screwed into your wall, whatever. And so those really aren't as
flexible.
Yeah. But they're pretty.
But if you have done like a once in a lifetime quilt, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like an extremely special quilt, or something that is just your very favorite forever, then let's put a really permanent place in there.
And there's lots of quilt hangers, type things that you could put. I have a really pretty one over my stairs and we do change it out periodically, but I have to just make sure that whatever quilt I put up there fits in that quilt hanger.
Well, and kind of along those lines of changing things out periodically, it is good to get your quilts out and unfold them, but then also to give them a break from the sunlight and the weather, and kind of put them back away for a little bit. I think it probably would extend the life of your quilt. My mom made my grandma a beautiful quilt and did printing the pictures on the fabric and stuff, and they hung it for years, and those pictures just faded into oblivion. And so, I mean, I think that's pretty unique, because we don't do picture things all that often, but you just have to be careful of where you're hanging, and the sun really is
it's not your friend.
It's not. It will break down your thread. It will break down your fabric. And so be careful. But if you've come in the store, you've seen we have the wire rods too. And those you can get at IKEA.
Yes.
And they're not bad, and they're pretty flexible. I mean, we hang things of all sizes.
We do.
And you could get, we just
use.
They're
sturdy.
Yeah, they are. They're very sturdy.
We have a lot of weight hanging from those little.
Yeah, and we use, oftentimes we use clothespins, but you could get really cute little hook things.
Definitely.
And clips and hang those. Those would be really fun if you had a spot that you love to hang. And they're pretty easy. I mean, you have to get a ladder, but they're pretty easy to change things out.
They are.
It's not super permanent.
And embroidery hoops, big wooden embroidery hoops. And you just can kind of gather your fun little quilt up over there. And then you could use, I don't know about a command hook. You might have to get creative with some other kind of a hook to hang your embroidery hoop up off there. But I've seen some really cute ones on an embroidery hoop, big wooden embroidery hoop.
I like that.
Or grapevines. Roxy's done quilts here at the store over grapevines as well. And that's really fun, kind of an outdoorsy, indoorsy kind of a
kind
look.
of thing. Well, quilt ladders. We haven't really talked about that. I love quilt ladders. Yes. And that's a super easy way to change things out really quickly and display multiple quilts at a time.
And you can have them leaning up against a wall.
Which is how I have them.
Or you can have them hanging on the wall. And you can, so you don't have to have them hanging up and down. You can then hang them across and run them instead of over the, what are those, rungs? Instead of over there, you actually hang them over the side of the ladder. And we have one hanging up in the front that we kind of...
We do all sorts of things with it, actually.
We do. We hang quilts up from that. Oh, we also have a quilt here that's actually a curtain.
Oh! I kind of wanted to show it, but if I switch the camera, it'll turn off our mics. But... yeah, so we have a rod and we have clips rod with rings on them, and we use it as a curtain. And many of you who have been here have seen it, I'm sure. It blocks off the scary kit room because that area is kind of scary back there. And it's just pretty. You can see it. It's just kind of a little tiny bit gathery. But I also had one to my gamble room over Christmas one time because I didn't want anybody to see my gamble room because it was such a mess, because everything got shoved into the gamble room. And so I put a beautiful quilt up there. And then I could see the quilt. There you go. It was a lady in waiting. There you go. That's a really good idea. I don't think, I think like if you had a quilt room with maybe a closet door or something, you could hang it over the closet door. It's super easy to still access the closet. But then you get to, decorate with more quilts.
You know the hooks that you hang wreaths on?
Yeah.
Those are great to put over a door to then use an embroidery hoop or grapevine.
That's a good idea.
Or something or just even have then that quilt fanned out with its bow, and you just hang the back side of the bow over one of those. Yeah. That holds a lot of nice weight, and it displays it nicely. Yeah, so that would be good. Another one.
Marianne says she hangs some on bunk beds that her grandkids use occasionally. I think that's a fabulous idea.
Great idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
So does anyone else have any suggestions or ways that you like to decorate? My mom really does decorate for each season with all of her quilts, and then she hangs them in a closet. And I think it's such a good idea because you have them, you've put in all this time and effort, and
they're cute if they're rolled up in a basket, but you really can't see them. Yeah. I mean, you see a little bit of color. You know the old-fashioned quilt drying racks? Clothes drying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they look really cute displayed on those. But the newer ones are kind of a little flimsy. So you almost need an antique one that's got a little more heft to it. So
do a little antique
another
shopping.
Fun. Yeah. Oh, yes, please.
I went to an antique kind of place in Logan a couple of years ago, and that I bought... So it was before my quilt cabinet was built, and I was looking for one, but I needed to find one. I bought a basket the size of a small bathtub. It is huge. It's probably as big as this table. Oh, it is huge, and I was able to put quilts in there. In fact, I still have a few quilts in there. And it really wasn't that expensive, honestly, for that big of a basket. But if I filled it up, I don't know if I could lift it.
No, you shouldn't.
But
you'd probably knock the bottom out of it if you had all those. Yeah.
But any kind of old kind of containery type.
Look for different things
to put around your house. I guess it depends on how your house is decorated and what you feel like would go. But what's kind of fun is my house is really dark, woodsy, kind of dark. I have wood all around my home. But upstairs, it's kind of brighter and lighter. So all my bright quilts I can kind of put up there. And then downstairs I can keep, although I still keep some bright stuff downstairs too, because I love it all. But
we do. We do. So we talked about drapery rods and drying racks and the pie safe, grapevines, hoops, towel holders. You know, the little ones that you put in your bathroom, towel holders. Those work really nicely to display quilts on as well. And we have hooks down in my basement. I actually have they're for towels. So they're nice and sturdy. So that's another good one.
That's
so
a
rod or a hook, any of those work well. Gosh, I think that's all of my
so many different. Well, and I think there's a bazillion ideas we didn't talk about.
Oh, lots of ideas. I'm sure people have some other great ideas of how they display their quilts, because it's kind of fun, because you like Liz said, you've gone to all the time to make these beautiful quilts, and then Just
Get
want to
them.
fold them up.
Get them displayed.
You know, you can have not only your beautiful quilt on your bed, but you could also have one at the foot of your bed, which is another way to display yet another quilt in your bedroom. So
yeah, and right as you walk in my door is where my guest room is, and so I kind of use that guest bed to display seasonal quilts as well, because I mean, I just don't have guests that often, you know, and when you walk in my door, you see it. Well, no, I mean, you have to walk a little bit, but anyway, so yes, use them, and we hope that you love seeing them. And, you know, I love it because I can't remember the little mistake that I made 10 years ago when I made that quilt. And so I'm lucky, I guess.
I do.
You do? So do you have to give them away if you make a mistake?
Yeah. So I am getting better. However, I really am getting a little bit better about that. So I still have to have them all going in the same direction. I don't know that I'll ever be able to let go of that one. That's kind of a real thing for me. But if I accidentally maybe chop off a point, I'm not as hard on myself now as I used to be. Because here's the thing. I still want this to be fun. And if I'm super stressed about making sure every single one of my little points are just perfect, then I sew like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to sew like that. I want to enjoy this. Yeah. Because if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done.
But enjoy the fruits of your labors. Marianne also says she has a wood box that says seeds. And I like to roll the quilts and place them like flowers standing tall.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
Cute.
So there's some really cute ideas. And yeah, you find some fun ideas in antique stores. And I think not only, you know, the obvious things that we've talked about, like quilt ladders and things like that, but you find cute ways that they display things. And you can, you know, get some ideas. So Kelly Cochran says, Carol's daughter. Kelly says, hello, Fran.
Carol's daughter. Oh, hello. I know who you are, sweet. I'm old, Kelly. It took me a second. This little girl was almost like one of my very own. So her mama was one of my very bestest friends. We used to get together and do our craft ladies, which the kids just sat around and laughed at all of us. But she's a beautiful young lady. Just took me a second, Kelly. That last name threw me for only a half a second. So, hello, Kelly. Thank you for watching us. Long time no see, my friend. When you're around town, you got to come and say hi to me, please.
Okay, well, we've got lots of fun things going on at the store, but we got to get moving. And thanks for joining today.
I didn't show my quilt I just finished. Wait.
We have show and tell.
We have show and tell.
I hope you can see.
Oh, my goodness.
Here, do you want me to turn towards you?
I think we're okay, sweetie. After Shop Hop, our poor store just became naked.
Yeah, we sold so many things, which was so lovely.
193 kits, you guys. So we just kept pulling down quilt after quilt. And so Roxy, who does an amazing job of decorating for me, said, Fran, the store's naked. We got to get on this. So I finished piecing the quilt, sent it to Roxy. She quilted it for me. And yesterday I finished the binding.
Well, we got to say, this is part 2 for Village Vibes, because do you remember Fran did a little demo when she very first started making this quilt? And her rotary cutter was terrible.
Yeah, remember? We were doing the stripology ruler, and I said, look how quick and easy you can do this.
It was pretty funny, but it finished.
Because I took it home to a better cutter and finished cutting it out with my stripology ruler. I forgot about that. You're right.
We gotta have part 2 of the story, right?
It did.
I think it's beautiful. Look how gorgeous it is. It was the stripology, and you did pre-cuts with this, right?
Yeah, it just was a layer cake, and we were gonna chop up that. It didn't chop up so easy. You know, I tell my girls here, it's okay. We can have new mats. We can have new blades in our rotary cutters. Please don't keep using those like that. But I didn't check it before I came. And it was very
before we get on camera and get live.
It's not a good idea.
Oh, funny. Funny. Okay, we're going to be done.
Hope that you have an amazing trip.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And hear all about
so in 3 weeks, I will be back in the United States. And I'm hoping to show you some fun fabric.
Oh, yes.
I'm hoping to go shopping.
Oh my gosh, we're going to need extra time on Village Vibes
Yes,
that day.
we are.
Be prepared.
But I'm hoping. And I'm taking my sweet friend who I'm going to see while I'm over there as a quilter. And so I'm actually taking her a little gift. I don't know if she'll see that. And I'm taking her some other things. I kind of collected some fun things to take to her. So I'm excited. And anything that I take and I leave over there for her is more room in my suitcase for me to come home. So thank you, Marianne. I will stay safe. And she also says, keeping it real, Fran. Keeping it real.
Oh, great. Okay, so I believe it's going to be Deanna and I. We will try and be the B+ team next week, like Erin and I had to do last week.
And I'm going to leave my thing for you this time. I forgot to leave it.
She said she would, but she didn't. So it's okay. We did great. We didn't even drop my phone.
Amazing.
We did okay. We did okay.
You did amazing.
We did. So everybody have an amazing week. Do something nice for yourself. Remember the, what is it?
5-10
rule. Please be kind to everyone. Be extra kind to yourself and do something fun this summer.
Absolutely.
Yep. So have a great week, guys.
Thanks,
and we'll
guys.
see you next time.
Bye
now.